Yeah, you read the title. Yeah, we're talking the baby once again. Another update. The debacle continues. There was an apology issued on behalf of the baby on his Instagram that has since been deleted. I think that's really what I want to give my opinion on, my thoughts, just a apology. But after this intro music, we're gonna get into everything that's happened since the last time I updated y'all about this. Let go. Yeah, so this debacle the baby created for himself is not over. I know a lot of y'all wanted to be over, y'all tired of it. I'm tired of it. Like, I get why the baby was fucked up for saying what he was saying. So the continuation of people coming out and speaking their piece about it or whatever, it's just like, okay. But I'm here doing the same thing, so it is what it is. Just to update from the last time I talked to y'all about this shit, Madonna addressed the baby. She left a lengthy Instagram post or Twitter post, something like one of the social medias that Madonna's a part of at her name. She addressed the baby directly, spoke about the shit. That was wild because Madonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, you fucked up the baby. Elton John spoke out about it, gave us some positive information regarding HIV/AIDS and the epidemic and what you could do to help, where things are now in 2021 as opposed to the 1979 rhetoric the baby was spitting on the Rolling Loud stage. Yeah. More festivals have dropped the baby. The Day in Vegas Festival, Governor's Ball, Park Life, Lollapalooza. Pretty sure every festival that had a festival decided the baby was off of there. And I seen a lot of people, bro, they was tripping, right? Because it's like, oh, we get it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just bandwagoning the shit. Da-da-da. No, it's not really a bandwagon move, if you ask me. I think it's business. Same thing, right? What the baby had told Megan Thee Stallion when he decided he wanted to work with Tory Lanez after he had told Megan he wasn't going to do that. Yeah, it's business. Like, you have made yourself a liability. You reckless. People can't trust you to just get on stage, do your music, and not offend nobody. And now you losing money behind it. So people don't want you at their events. I understand y'all might feel like, oh, this too much, whatever. But you gotta understand from a business standpoint, it don't matter what you think the crowd is gonna react to, or how you think the crowd is gonna react to something, or what you think the crowd feels about the situation or whatever. The bottom line is you said some shit that's affecting people on a global level. Like, homophobia is not just American, that shit is global. People will do way worse to you for being a girl who likes girls, or a guy who likes guys, or a person that likes everybody. People will do way worse shit to you than they do here. So you can't get on Rolling Loud, which is a global stage. It's the biggest hip hop festival in the world. You can't get on them people's platform, on those people's stages, and pretty much offend every audience they're trying to reach out to, if that makes sense. Like, you can't just do that. Freedom of speech, X, Y, and Z says you want to say, cool. You see he's not in jail and nobody's threatening his life, or people have threatened his life on Twitter. Nobody is taking his life. Like, it might seem like a minor offense, and I guess in actuality it kind of is, but then from a business standpoint, you can't be in line with something like that. When you need people to spend money on your product, you want everybody to feel like they can do that shit safely. The baby being reckless and doubling down on the shit and having this I don't give a fuck attitude and I'm gonna be all right, whatever. Like, nah, there's nobody like with good sense and integrity and moral values and just somebody who want to make money is looking at this situation and being like, yeah, it is what it is. Come on out here and perform. Hopefully my crowd ain't tripping. Like, no. These people have to distance themselves from the baby to protect their bag. So if it means one less rapper on a lineup of 1,000, it is what it is. I know somebody out there can understand that. You might feel like, oh, they tripping, they doing too much and bandwagon and copy. They just doing this because these festivals did it. Yeah, that's why they doing it, because it's a red flag. Like, oh, damn. 17 more festivals have said we care about our crowd and we don't want y'all feeling offended by anything this nigga might say. So let's just cut ties with him now. It is what it is. Business. That shit came back to bite him real quick. Because that's the same card he pulled with Megan. This is business. I'm over here getting the check. I might have said something to you behind the scenes, but money. Now you see, business. It can be beneficial and it can fuck you up. Moving on though, because Questlove jumped into the pot, and I didn't understand it at first, but I read a little bit into it. I get it. Questlove has his annual Roots Picnic Festival. Again, another large music festival. One of the most popular, one of the biggest. Like, you know Questlove from the Roots, hip hop legend. Like, DaBaby can pretend like he don't know him, but nigga, we know who the fuck Questlove is. He was asked, like, if you could put together a lineup for your festival, like, who would it be? DaBaby's name was on there. Of course, after the comments, he was like, man, fuck that, because Questlove has his own personal attachments to those things that DaBaby chose to negatively speak on. And on top of that, he's just a decent person. And he feel like, nah, we can't still be out here spreading that kind of bullshit and rocking like that in 2021. And I agree. Lil Nas X responded. He had some tweets about this shit, basically having the same question that we all been having for Boosie for quite some time now. Like, nigga, what's going on? You in the closet? Like, you hiding something? You trying to tell us you gay? You just don't want to, like, what's going on? Because every time some shit like this happen, you be the first one to pipe up, and it's questionable, dog. It just is, because why do you care so much? Why are you so invested? You claim to be straight. Worry about the women. You don't want to do that. It's always, whenever the LGBTQ plus community brought up, he got something negative to say, he got something hateful to say. He went on that super homophobic ass rant against Nas X wanting to perform for charity. We talked about that on the last update. But Lil Nas X was like, what's going on? Tell us what's going on behind the scenes, because we got questions at this point. I do too. I'm trying to understand why Boosie be so turned by this shit. Like, he be so in it. Like, yeah, fuck these people, and this is wrong. Always bringing the kids into it. People love to do that. Leave the kids out. They ain't worried about it. We talked about that last episode too. So fuck that. Let's move on. I seen that DJ Academics had pulled up some old footage or old audio of Will kind of making similar comments about HIV/AIDS and stuff like that on stage or whatever. I get what DJ Academics was trying to do and was trying to say, but I found it a little corny, a little tasteless, if you're asking me, just simply because context matters. And this is how people be getting fucked up for shit that they did in their past that we all know was just a product of the times. Like, we can't continue to keep, oh, well, I found this audio of Will Smith from 30 years ago talking the same way DaBaby is talking today. That's the problem. You found audio footage of Will Smith having those same kind of comments that DaBaby is having right now, present day. The difference is we didn't know no better back there. Or maybe he did, or it's just the knowledge wasn't as accessible as it is today. Fast forward to 2021, it shouldn't be that at all, because everything right there on Google, if you really want to know. Or you could just ask somebody. There's plenty of TikTokers and Twitter people and Instagram reel makers or whatever that'll gladly lay out the facts and the details for you in 2 minutes or less. So why the fuck are we still on stage worried about this shit, talking about this shit in the middle of a whole brand new ass pandemic? But yeah, I get what Academics was trying to do. It was just, nah, that wasn't the move, bruh. Also, I heard that DaBaby was supposed to be on Donda, but Kanye pulled him off. Now, the business we just talked about it makes sense. My thing though is, this is why this is important to me, right? Because Kanye was one of the people back in his blacker days, that was like really championing for LGBTQ and like trying to make sure that hip hop stopped with the homophobia and stop equating gayness to being bad and evil and shit like that. So him taking DaBaby off of here for his comments or whatever, that made me feel like we finna get the old Kanye back at some point. Now I've been hearing that the music from Donda is good and all this other shit. I seen the list of features. I'm excited to hear most of those verses and vocal contributions and all this other shit. But this particular sentiment, I was like, oh wait now, because this was back in Pink Polo days, back when Kanye ain't had no problems pulling up on Sway and them having conversations. Like, we finna get the real Kanye back. Like, what's going on? We finna get some curse words on here, some nigga. Like, come on, Kanye, what we doing with Donda? You know what? That's another episode. I need to talk about that another place. Let's focus on DaBaby right now. All of this leads to the apology, right? Now, I'm one of those people that feel like if something like this happens, people should be given their grace to apologize and, you know, try to right their wrongs and have their whole moment where they get educated and learn from their mistakes and all this other bullshit. I believe that that's fair. People should have that space. DaBaby fucked up his first apology. This one, not really better. Let me just go into it, right? Because I seen y'all was like, well, what's the issue with this one? This is it. Social media moves so fast that people want to demolish you before you even have the opportunity to grow, educate, and learn from your mistakes. Now, this is how this started to get fucked up already. First sentence, off top. Yeah, social media moves fast, whatever. But you move just as fast, nigga. You was on there with your videos trying to doubling down and trying to justify why you said what you said. You know what I'm saying? You brought up your gay fans and shit that you couldn't possibly know about their life and their existence or whatever, and you just made shit worse. You did all of that because people were trying to give you the space to grow and trying to educate you and trying to get you to learn from your mistakes. So that whole video with you, oh, you know, my gay fans ain't doing X, Y, and Z in no parking lot, they know better, that was you being mad because people was trying to educate you and help you grow and give you the space to learn from your mistakes. Like, you was rebuttaling. You wasn't trying to make things right. So that's crazy. He goes on to say, as a man who has had to make his own way from very difficult circumstances, having people I know publicly work against me, knowing that what I needed was education on these topics and guidance has been challenging. Now, from my understanding, this is me from the outside looking in, LGBTQ people, they have life a lot worse than a regular straight person. Now, think about it now. Be real with yourself. Being black in America is one thing. Adding that extra layer of, LGBTQ on top of that made things a whole lot worse. Why? Because after you get done in the world, you know, dealing with racism, from systemic shit all the way down to just police brutality and stuff, then you gotta go back to the hood, which DaBaby is pretty much trying to say, you know, I grew up in the hood, I came from the streets or whatever, like, take that into consideration. Like, no, nigga, we cannot take that into consideration because them same hoods and streets you was in, gay people, lesbians, the whole LGBTQ, they was right there in them same streets and hoods and trenches. They just had it worse because on top of dealing with all the social bullshit that comes along with racism or whatever, they had to go back to the hood where black people was at and deal with it from there. So coming with this whole, I had to come from, I had to make my way from very difficult circumstances. Being black and LGBTQ, I'm pretty sure is a lot more difficult. That's why we having this conversation in the first place. Because your homophobic comments and stuff, it just makes shit difficult, more difficult for those people. So That's just weird, bro. Like, you know that now. Like, come on now. Everybody that's black that done grew up in, a black neighborhood or whatever, y'all know homophobia was there. It's at the schools, in the churches, at the corner stores, like the basketball courts, the community centers, like gay people who happen to also be black and live in black areas, they struggle just because there's this thing with the black community where homophobia is like a part of the experience. I hate that it's like that because people should be able to live how they want to live, but that's life for us. That's life for the black community. And that's why I'm tired of talking about this, because I feel like we're missing that whole part of the conversation. Just focusing on DaBaby and his comments, T.I. and Boosie and their comments, Nas X defending his right to just be alive and gay as he want to be. Like, we're not even talking about like where this shit really coming from and how we can fix that. And I don't know who these people are that's publicly working against him. Maybe he feel like these show organizers who have been telling him to stay home don't come to their shit. Maybe he feel like Dua Lipa, who has since took the original version of Levitate and swapped that for the remix. Like, the remix is not being played on the radio at all. I've been listening. It's gone. The original version is there. And I said that somebody was going to try to make that play. They made it happen. Airplay is severely down for Levitate remix featuring DaBaby. Levitate original, doing fine. But if he feels slighted by those people, he got to look inward, bruh. You created this. You created it. You can't be mad at people's response and reactions to something you did, you said. Like, start with you first. He closed out this apology post, apologizing to the LGBTQ community for the hurtful and triggering comments I made. And then he goes, again, I apologize for the misinformed comments about HIV/AIDS, and I know education on this is important. Love to all, God bless. I'm cool with him apologizing. It's not for me. Like, he specifically apologizing to LGBTQ and for his, misinformed comments about HIV/AIDS. So if any one of those people who that apology is meant for don't fuck with it, then they just don't fuck with it. If you're not the one that's being apologized to, it's really not your business whether you think people should accept it or not. Like, it's not up to you. So to that, I just say, you know what I'm saying? Do better. I appreciate you trying to do some form of apologize, even though I could clearly point out why the shit ain't feeling like an apology. But it is what it is. I'm really tired of talking about this particular situation with DaBaby. Like I said, I feel like it's a larger conversation that needs to happen between people of the black community. We got all of these quote unquote straight people representing us on this global stage, making these homophobic comments and misogynistic comments and spreading all this misinformation. And those of us who don't have the platform like that, we can't, hold these people accountable and let the world know, like, hey, we're not all like this. And I don't think black people really realize that. I don't think they understand, like, people like T.I. and Boosie and DaBaby or whatever, they're popular amongst, they have popularity. So what they say and do tends to be a reflection of the hip hop community as a whole, just simply because white people are looking at them like, okay, well, these are the people y'all put on. These are the people y'all gave the platform and opportunity, so y'all must agree. And we can't continue to let that be a thing. But that's a conversation for another time, I guess, because it's not happening right now. But that's it. I'm moving on from the conversation. Just wanted to do this final update to kind of bring all this shit to a close and make sure people have some kind of understanding of why this apology that he done turned around and deleted was not holding up well. But yeah, man, my comments open or whatever, wherever I post this. If y'all want to continue the conversation, I don't mind. I'll chime in. It is what it is. Just, yeah, hit me up on the socials at Brian Sapp, BrianSapph, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, wherever else you can find me. Catch y'all on the next one.